What is it you're filming today?
Well, at the minute, them.
Him? Just
No, not him. The gatehouse.
Oh, the gatehouse.
Yeah, because I was just walking up and down taking pictures.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to get a police car with the blue lights coming out.
Yeah.
I've got that now, but you spelt my shot anyway.
Okay.
And the gentleman come out and committed a public section 5 public order offence.
Okay, what happened?
He said I'm not allowed to film.
Yeah.
And I explained to him I'm on a public road, so I can film.
Yeah.
And he called me an effing idiot, and it's all on film.
Right, okay. The gentleman in the...
Yeah, he had a security coat on with a big beard.
Right, okay. And you've got that on film?
I have, yeah.
Okay. What, are you wanting us to do anything about that? Were you planning on reporting it, or...?
I've just reported it to you, haven't I?
Right. At the moment, obviously, I'll deal with what you've just reported to me. Okay,
yep.
We'll take that into consideration. But we've had a report before anything of that has come through that there's been a male walking around with a balaclava on. Okay?
It's not a balaclava.
Okay, that's the report we've had. Okay,
right.
Because you are matching that description.
Yep. I'm
detaining you for a stop search under Section 1 of PACE. Okay.
Really?
Based on the fact that that sort of equipment. Okay.
So what's your reasonable grounds?
My grounds are
that I'm wearing a balaclava, which isn't a balaclava.
Okay. You match the description. You are covered in your face. Okay.
They close in on him right away and speak as if he's already done something wrong. When he doesn't give in, the situation quickly intensifies. They bring up Section 1 of PACE, not because of anything he's actually done, but simply because of how he looks. In the end, their reasoning is very basic. His face is covered, so they treat him as suspicious. That's not proper policing. It's judging someone based on appearance alone, that if wearing a face covering near a police station is enough to justify a search, then there are effectively no limits to that power. Section 1 was never meant to be used on a whim. Officers are supposed to have a clear reason and a real connection to specific items before stopping and searching someone. Without that, the power loses its purpose and becomes open to misuse, in this case. The process is flipped the wrong way around. Instead of having solid grounds first, they stop him and then look for a reason afterward. That's a serious problem. It's why this entire stop falls apart when you examine it closely, not just because of how it was handled, but because it lacked a lawful basis from the very start.
We're looking at offences such as theft, going equipped, that sort of thing.
Okay.
That sort of equipment can be used for that. Okay.
Right, so what are you looking for then, particularly?
So any further equipment that could be used in the course of conducting an offence such as theft or going equipped, okay?
All right.
So because
you do realise you'll get a civil claim over this?
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Right, because I'm quite a small female and you're quite big, I'm going to place you in handcuffs because you're an unknown risk to me, okay? So
right, does it have to be a male? You're not stopping recording?
No.
Handcuffs on by anybody.
Yeah.
What are you doing holding the handcuffs?
I'm just doing like that, holding your handcuffs. That need an explanation.
Well, it does. Look at your nails, you nearly scratched me with them.
Used as a weapon, can't they?
Can they?
So
what, when I'm in handcuffs?
Yes.
I can assure you now I'm going to cooperate. I don't agree to the search and I don't consent to the search, I'll make that clear.
You don't have to consent.
Okay, I've detained you in Section 1 of PACE, you don't have to agree to it, it's
Yeah,
not a
no.
voluntary thing, okay? Right, will you want a copy of the stop search record?
Yes, I will.
Sorry, can you hold them for me
Yeah,
while
yeah.
I just... Sorry.
Honestly, I'm not going to try and break out.
Yeah, but as
I'm not going to get far, am I?
The reasoning keeps shifting, and now it turns into pure guesswork. Out of nowhere, they mention theft, but there's no specific incident, no report, just a loose idea that he might have tools linked to theft. That's not solid ground for a search. It comes across as a random attempt to find something after the fact, rather than acting on clear evidence. Section 1 doesn't allow officers to search someone just to see if anything suspicious shows up. It requires a clear reason from the start. Saying this could lead to a civil claim isn't an exaggeration. It's a fair point based on how the law is meant to work. Without proper grounds, the entire action becomes questionable and open to challenge. Then they put him in handcuffs, even though he's calm, cooperative, and following instructions. The explanation given is that she's smaller and he's an unknown risk. But that's not a proper risk assessment. It's more like a standard excuse. Decisions like this should be based on how someone is behaving, not just assumptions. This isn't about managing a real threat. It looks more like taking the easy option to stay in control. Using handcuffs in this way doesn't address danger. It simply covers up weak reasoning and uncertainty, rather than responding to any actual risk.
Being in a public place with a face covering
Okay.
That's the offence.
What's your name, sorry, just so I can...
I don't give my name.
Okay. So I need it to complete the form, and also if you want to process your complaint about the public order thing, I'll need your details anyway.
Right. You can just call me FT.
FT, okay. I'm going to need more than that if you want me to deal with that complaint.
No.
Because I can't deal with that.
So you don't want to make a complaint about the Section 5 public order offence? Because you would need to give your details as a victim.
Alright, so if there's a murder and the person's dead, how do they make a complaint? Do they give their name? I don't think so.
That's quite a different situation.
Is it?
And we generally identify...
Right, we're getting on with this search. We've got better things to do than stand here talking around to you muppets.
You didn't have much better things to do because you were standing here filming, weren't you?
You have the grounds to search, explain to you and everything.
Well, yeah, apparently they're looking for, what is it you're looking for? Crowbars?
Can we use an identifier? Really quick.
Wow.
Been detained in section 1 of case on PC 3096. I'm policing from here, this police station here, Fly Police Station.
Congratulations.
So, been offered a copy of the search record?
I have been offered a copy of the search. You don't need my name for that though.
The issue around Section 5 gets completely turned upside down here. Early on, the auditor brings it up several times because a member of the public approaches him and starts using abusive language. That's the behavior that could actually fall under a public order offense. It's clear where the concern should be focused, but the officers ignore that at the time. Later on, they switch things around and aim Section 5 back at him instead. Out of nowhere, they start asking for his name, saying they can't move forward with the complaint without it, as if reporting an issue somehow makes him the suspect. That's not how the process works. People don't lose the right to report something just because they choose not to give personal details on the spot. The timing says a lot. Section 5 only becomes a focus once the officers start losing patience and want some kind of control over the situation. At that point, the goal doesn't seem to be resolving the original problem anymore. Instead, the person who raised the concern is reframed as the issue, while the initial behavior that caused it is quietly pushed aside and forgotten.
It's the top cuff's going to come off first.
Shouldn't have been put on really, should it?
When you're detained for a search, it's the officer's choice whether to put you in handcuffs, but we are legally allowed to do so.
We'll see. So you can witness the markings on my hand?
Yep.
I'll go towards the... Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4 police cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 police officers. We all constables. No detectives here, is there? No inspectors. Couldn't detect anything, could they? What I might do later, I might just film all these registrations in here as well. Alright. I'll probably just put them on the internet.
What are you going to do that for?
Because I like taking videos and putting them on the internet.
People's registrations of the vehicle.
It's not illegal though, is it?
Film whatever you want.
Exactly.
The search ends exactly as expected. Nothing is found. When the handcuffs are removed, the marks on his wrists are clear and hard to ignore. These aren't light marks from a quick or necessary restraint. They show that the force used went beyond what was needed. When restraint leaves that kind of evidence, it raises serious questions about whether it was truly for safety or something else at that point. It starts to feel less about protection and more like a response to him not going along with what was being pushed. Then comes the moment that ties everything together. When he asks if filming vehicles is against the law, the officer calmly says, "You can film whatever you want." That one statement changes the entire picture that if filming is allowed at the end, then it was never a problem to begin with. That means the stop, the search, and the use of handcuffs lose their foundation. What remains isn't a misunderstanding. It's a clear example of how quickly someone's rights can be pushed aside when their actions, even if lawful, are not welcomed by those in authority.
Why'd you wear the thin blue line badge then? Part of the gang? Do you know more people, the public, have died in police custody in the last 30 years than police officers have died on active duty in the last 100 years? Where's your badge for that? Silence. Do you feel proud today? Done a good job today? Go home and tell the children.
I advise you that your actions could be construed as hostile reconnaissance towards terrorism.
What? I just said you've done a good job today.
Police personal vehicles.
Hostile.
For the purpose of putting them on
Terrorism.
for whatever reason that might
Oh,
be.
go on, keep digging that hole.
It's hostile reconnaissance for terrorism offences.
Hostile. If I was hostile reconnaissance, I wouldn't be overt, would I?
No,
I'd be
you don't understand
covert.
what hostile reconnaissance means. It's all right.
You're allowed to do reconnaissance.
You're not
If I
allowed
wanted to, I could map all this ground.
You could be construed as committing hostile reconnaissance for terrorism offences. I'm just
Right.
making you aware
Right,
of
okay,
that.
let me make you aware of this. If you think I'm a terrorist, you should leave me alone and contact the anti-terrorism squad. Because if you thought I was a terrorist, you wouldn't all come up to me like this, would you?
When the officer starts labeling his filming as hostile under terrorism laws, it reveals the situation for what it really is. Recording police vehicles and sharing it online isn't a sign of terrorism. It's something many people do regularly without issue. There's no intelligence behind it, no warning signs, and no clear intent. Just someone using a camera while officers feel uneasy about being recorded. Using serious terms like terrorism doesn't make the situation more valid. It actually weakens the argument. It comes across as careless rather than justified. Free Time's audit gives the only response that makes sense. If there's a real belief that this is linked to terrorism, then proper counterterrorism units should be involved. That's the clear line that separates a real concern from an empty claim. In reality, nothing of that sort happens. The word is used, but no action follows. That says everything. Terrorism isn't something you suggest lightly or use to make a situation sound more serious. When it's thrown in without substance, it exposes just how weak the entire stop was from the beginning.
What I said was, your actions can be construed as hostile reconnaissance.
I've had enough of you now, off
terrorism
you pop.
offences.
Not talking to you anymore, talk rubbish.
We can be here just as much as you can be here.
Oh yeah, I know you can. But I can tell you to off your pop. Anybody filming?
Yep.
Yeah.
Body cams on, yeah.
Oh, you're supposed to tell me at the first available opportunity.
Am I?
As part of your policy. You don't even know your own policy. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Can you just inform him that if he swears at me again, I will press charges?
You're watching too much American TV, you don't press charges.
Alright, then I'll file a claim.
Do you want your coffee?
Yes, I do.
There you go. Right, he's having a word with him, okay? And we'll leave you to it. But
Should have left me to it in the first place.
no, we had round to stop and speak to you instead.
I don't think you did.
Okay, that's fine. Be mindful of what my colleagues just said to you, okay?
What, that I'm a terrorist? If you thought I was a terrorist, you should act on it now. Off your pot. Off your pot. Off your pot. See you later.
Right, so you stand here all day.
Alright, cool. Yeah, see? Knew you'd leave first.
I'll bid you.
Wait, are you going to the shop to buy some polish for your boots? Not seen a bit of polish in years.
By the time the officers walked away, the outcome had already been set long before the search even finished. It wasn't shaped by evidence, but by early assumptions. From the very beginning, Free Time's audits wasn't treated like a regular citizen using a lawful right, but as someone who needed to be controlled. That mindset influenced everything that followed. This stop wasn't a response to any real crime. It felt more like a reaction to being observed and recorded. That's why finding nothing didn't lead to any reflection or correction. It simply led to the officers stepping away and moving on. What stands out most is how normal the escalation seemed. There was no urgency or chaos, just a steady progression that appeared routine. Simple things were turned into reasons for suspicion. Clothing became a concern. Filming was treated as intent. Not knowing something was treated as risk. Each step followed a pattern that seems to appear when officers are uncomfortable being watched. That's more concerning than a heated argument, because it shows how easily powers can be used without being questioned. What happened afterward reinforces that point. Free Time's audits went on to file a civil claim, and the police ended up paying out. That outcome speaks for itself. It shows that once the situation was properly reviewed, it didn't hold up. No crime was prevented. No real issue was uncovered. Just public funds used to settle a situation that should never have escalated that far. When accountability only comes through financial consequences, it points to a deeper issue. This isn't just about one misunderstanding. It reflects a wider pattern in how situations like this are handled. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider liking the video, sharing it, and subscribing to support the channel and keep attention on issues like this. I'm the Audit Assessor. This was episode 4. See you next time.